But you know what I wanted to tell you? I forgot to tell you. I went to Japan. I worked for the government. I just felt that. See, my father was so patriotic that we were just so government oriented that we loved America so much that I just wanted to do my part. So I applied for a job with the government, and they notified me that a job in Japan was opened. Well, really, I didn't want to go to Japan, but I took their offer, and I'll tell you, it was the most wonderful experience. I left Sayreville. I met the most wonderful people. I worked for the government. I saw how government works, and of course, then I got married, met a man, and I married. And I stayed in Japan for 4 years. I worked for the government there for 4 years. I worked for the government in Alaska. I worked for the government in Germany, because after we left Japan, my husband, was assigned to Fort Bragg. I worked there, and then I worked in Alaska. I worked in Germany, and then I went to Alaska, and then after 12 years, I had children. And then after Alaska, my working days were over. They were different. And when I went there was still a lot of damaged buildings, but the Japs, they really loved us. They would bow to us, and you kind of felt bad for them, because we won the war, but we still loved them. You know what I mean? So they looked up to Americans, and MacArthur, like I say, was up in Tokyo, and then we had a general in charge of 8th Army, and I worked in the transportation section. Well, each transportation section had an officer in charge, like a full colonel, and they had staff cars. They had cars assigned to them that took them at a minute's notice. Well, my husband happened to be just a sergeant, so he was one of the drivers that drove the colonel who was my boss around if he ever needed transportation. That's how I met him. Yeah, and the funniest thing, he tells the story. He said when he saw me come in there, he said, "That's the girl I'm going to marry." He didn't even meet me, but he said, "That's the girl." My kids joke about that. Yeah, but wonderful man, wonderful. I'll tell you. We went by ship, and it was in the winter time. My God, the waves were high as this house. Our ship went this way, that way. I said, "Oh my God, what did I do?" And they had 3 bunk beds in the lower quarters of the ship, and everybody would be swinging around. I said, "Oh my God, what's gonna happen? I don't know. What did I do this? So finally, I landed in Yokohama, and everybody was very nice. You know something? If that were my kids, I wouldn't let them go. My parents were happy I was going. They were very proud. They were so, proud to be Americans. They thought I was doing part of something for my country, Yeah. And they didn't stop me. I think if they had said don't go, I probably wouldn't have gone. But I went cross country by train. I went to Washington State, got a ship, and got on a ship. But it was in November, and oh my God, the seas were so huge. We went this way and that way, and it wasn't that big a ship. So I arrived in Japan. Everybody was very nice, and I had what the United States did. They rented these homes. They took over homes for the employees, and I was in a room with another girl. And I walked to work, which was like from here to the Polish church to work. Yeah, to walk. Yeah. We had a maid. I had a maid, and they took care of. That was after I got married, but they were very nice. They were very nice. They didn't say a word. Yeah. And as far as shopping, there were a few stores that were available, and people wanted to buy a souvenir or something, and they went down there and they finagled the price. But a lot of the cigarettes were $1 a carton or 50 cents a carton. Imagine our cigarettes, and they would want for you to trade your cigarettes for an item, on the black market. But I wouldn't do that. But That was about it. And we had a PX to shop in, so if we needed, everything was rationed. We candy. I don't remember how much candy we could get, but buy a couple candy bars, and cigarettes were 10 cents a pack. Can you imagine? And everything was purchased in the commissary. And when I got married, of course, my family sent me the outerwear and stuff like that. But except my gown, they sent me the material, the satin. I wanted satin material, so they sent me the satin. I had a Japanese girl make my dress, patterned on Shirley Temple's wedding. I've showed them a picture. Shirley Temple got married then, I think. And I showed her a picture of Shirley, and I wanted the gown. And they did their best. And yep, I still have it. I came back in 1962.
62.
Yeah, when my kids were born. Well, really, when we came back, we had bought a house on Pulaski Avenue before we retired. After Alaska, we came right to that house with the kids and everything. But see, I really didn't notice any change. I mean, I was still up in that section. I was still familiar with the politics of Sayreville. My father worked there, so yeah. And I wanted to, people say, why did you want to come back to Sayreville? I loved Sayreville. I looked forward to coming back.